Hi, my name is Dan Murphy and I'm a client partner with Growth Consulting Concepts.
My name is Mike Stewart, also a client partner with Growth Consulting Concepts.
In our last video we talked about consultants and why companies hire consultants and really what the outcome of many consulting engagements tends to be. Today, as we promised in our last video, we're going to talk to you about the 5 foundations for growth. And this is a pyramidically designed process that we use to help identify and help companies plan for growth and each of the segments for growth that we start with. Mike, we start with the planning stage.
Correct. The planning stage is the most basic and important part of any kind of plan to transform your business for growth. I mean, it sounds very basic, and you will find as you go through our series, most of this is very basic common sense. The difference between what we do and what others do is not only do we explain to you what the basics are required for a plan and the other components, but also how to do them. We'll even give you the forms to do them, and we'll identify which one of those steps are the most critical for you to spend your time on.
Yes, and the second part of this is that as each of these steps, as you move through each of these steps, they are dependent on one another. So the first one we have is the planning step. The second one that we have is the organizational, or your structure, which really talks about or really discusses how the organization has positioned itself and how if you're going to have a growth plan, is your organization ready for that growth. The third step is going to be the management step.
And the management step is around basically how are you going to manage implementation of your growth plan? What are the measurements you're going to use? How are you going to communicate all of the particular responsibilities and accountabilities of everyone in your organization as far as what their accountabilities, if you will, are for the implementation and success of your plan?
So we've got the planning stage, we've got the organizational stage, now we've talked about the management stage. The fourth stage of the foundations for growth would be the human capital, or the internal part of the planning session or the planning stages.
Yes, and this can be sometimes the most difficult part for a business manager to implement, to deal with, because you have people on board who you're comfortable with, who are doing a good job, and who may not be comfortable being held accountable for some part of their growth plan. And it's up to the manager to, number one, fulfill their accountability and responsibility to make sure everyone in the business is pulling together to grow your business.
So now we've talked about, we've got a planning stage, a structural stage, a management stage, and now an internal or the human capital. What are your people looking like, and is there new position definitions needed? Finally, what we do is we recommend that you go external, and the external is really part of the marketing stage. If you'll see in our graphic, you see the external as being the top of the pyramid. What that really means is that once all these foundations are put in place, now you're ready to go out and full-blown market your company so you can grow in an accelerated fashion.
Right, and that can be more complex than many people think. Or in some cases, marketing is somewhat difficult for some smaller business to deal with. It becomes intimidating. The reason it is because they think, I just hire somebody to go sell my product and that's all there is to it. Or I have some radio commercial. Marketing can be much more extensive than that, and like we talked about earlier, as far as your management, everyone in your company should also be part of that marketing plan and that marketing effort.
So Mike, where can we get more information about the 5 foundations for growth?
Obviously from our website. We'll give you a lot of extensive information about the 5 foundations via our 5 Foundations series, which covers every component we've talked about here in more detail.
And our website address is www.growthconsultingconcepts.com. And while you're there, there's a lot of rich content out there. While you're there, please feel free to visit our blog site. Please feel free to make recommendations about our site, because we're trying to make the site for you.
And thank you for your time. And remember, we're here to help you transform your business for growth.